My name is Anka, and welcome to the Fundamental Skill Building Series for Self-Awareness and General Growth. Today I want to discuss the practice of centering. Centering seems to be something that's being more adopted in places where you wouldn't normally expect a centering practice. So with that, there's questions that are popping up like, I kind of know what centering is, but would you mind expanding on that a little bit more? Or we were all here following your guided centering, but somehow I feel like I wasn't centering as well as some other people, when I opened up my eyes. And yes, that is what I really want to discuss with you, because centering is a very personal practice, regardless of who's leading it. You have to take that in and personalize it. So starting off on your own and becoming your own teacher in that, following your innate guidance system, having the trust to follow that would make it a lot easier to then go out and follow somebody else's, right? Because then you know how it feels and you know where you're going. You have that ability, that discernment to pick up this word that they just spoke and bring it in. But this word didn't quite resonate really that well. So you're going to change it with what fits the now for you. And then this other word, we're going to just throw it out. I don't even hear it. So then when you filter it through your own needs and desires within, then it's still your practice, even though somebody seems to be leading it, right? Does that make sense? So I really want you to view this video as that inspiration to get you into that mode of, I really need to develop my own. And trusting that you have that teacher sense within you to just listen and follow. You listen and follow, and your own mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual aspect will be guiding you on that centering, right? So let's start. What is centering? Centering is the intention to focus all attentions into your center to arrive into a relaxed but aware kind of state. Okay? So centering is the intention to focus. So this intention is more like viewed as like a command. I command my focus of all the attentions, and I have plural, right? Because we'll talk about attentions in a minute. We're scattered. We've scattered our focus. So we're commanding that focus to bring our attentions to our center, into one location. So if one would follow somebody else's centering practice, I feel like this would be the definition. It would just focus all attentions into your center. Or not necessarily, but often we stop right there. But it's the next part, right? To arrive into a relaxed but aware kind of state, right? And this is something that you have to feel on your own. You have to discover on your own. This is your own discovery of your own center, presence, and awareness, right? That is the centering. So if that shift hasn't happened, if you're sort of the same person that you sat down at the beginning of centering, you need more time. That shift into a relaxed but aware kind of state has to happen for that centering to feel complete, right? Satisfying. It has to satisfy that, yeah, I'm centered. Let's begin, right? That's what you want. So where are you coming from? These are the attentions that I was talking about. We have the mental aspect, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And what I want to bring awareness to is that on all of these 4 levels, we are being pulled, if we are aware of it or not. The mental and emotional, I think it's a lot easier to understand and to be aware of, right? Because those thoughts, they're constantly going. We have today's to-do list. We have tomorrow's to-do list. How do we make this more efficient? And then on top of everything that needs to get done, there's also this thought that is still not done. It's something that Eric said, and I'm still thinking, that he's so inconsiderate, blah, blah, blah. That thought is still working somewhere in the background. It's still popping up through the day, right? Then you have the emotional aspect. And if you might be dealing with some really serious emotions. The point is that it might be something even super silly, right? Blowing off your friend. She invited you to lunch, whatever. And instead of being super honest, you blew her off with a little lie. Now this guilt is coming and eating at you, for something so silly, just because for whatever reason, I don't know, you just didn't have the guts, right? To be honest. Physical. If the emotional and mental are really loud, we might not hear the little aches, right? It doesn't have to be a big pain, yet they're still there, right? If you would just do those stretches, maybe that discomfort would just go away, but you don't, and you're ignoring it, right? Because everything else is louder. Spiritual aspect. We might misinterpret things. Doors are closing because that experience is done, right? We have these magnetisms and influences that are pulling on us on a spiritual level. But that interpretation, sometimes when we don't have a clear mind, we interpret them in such a negative way. We're failures if a door closes, instead of, this is done. Right? I should be celebrating this. No, I'm internalizing and turning it into a mental and emotional aspect. So then all those attentions, there's so many that are pulling on us and are completely draining our vitality and our energy throughout the day. So why is centering a big deal? It is a huge deal. If you can master centering and have the skill to call it forth throughout the day, it will be a game changer for you. And how? Why? Why is this working? Because, I have 55 thoughts, emotions, aches and pains, and influences. Okay. If you pull all those 55 into this one center, imagine to what level you can increase your capacity to actually deal with situations in your day that are popping up. You have a lot more capacity, right? Not only that you have more capacity, it kind of creates the sensation of extra time, right? Because with that increased capacity, you can run through scenarios and emotions in a way fast. Your CPU has just increased, right? In a much faster way. So it creates a sensation of time to make a decision or to respond. But that response now, it's not operating at 5% capacity, because you're emotionally and mentally you're at 95%, right? So now you're operating on 5%. It's not a response at that time. It's just a reaction. I'm just blind something here and I'm blind something out there. When you have that capacity to think clearly through a situation, that response will be to your advantage, right? Or you might be closing something. You need to say no to something. You will find the words that are just what they need to be, right? They don't have to be snarky. They don't have to be apologetic. They don't have to be. They're just a no to whatever, and you can close it. So from 55 you go to 50, and then you go to 45, and then you are able to maintain a task list and to move through things at a faster rate because you have more capacity at any given time. That is a skill, okay? It's not a privilege that people just have. They were born with something. A lot of people work at this skill, and that's all that it is. What else does it do? It improves physical health. Just simply put, if you can operate as your normal in a more relaxed state, that alone will improve overall your physiological processes, right? Your blood pressure, your nutrition absorption, your immune system. Just that alone is pretty big. Now, if you go even more and you have the skill level to work at an alpha brain state, that is healing mode. You can regenerate while you're working. That is a pretty awesome skill to have, right? Number 3, builds resilience by creating a sort of background to your awareness. This resilience, okay. So the analogy that I use here is motion sickness, right? If you're in a car, airplane, boat, whatever, small airplane, and you're not the pilot, but you're a co-pilot, and for whatever reason, you're looking down. You're looking for restaurants on your phone, right? 2 minutes in, all of a sudden, you're getting motion sickness, right? Why? Because you lost your environmental perspective, right? How do you fix that? You look up, you find a horizon. You find something that is not moving. A minute later, you feel a little bit better. In 2 minutes, it's like, oh, you're feeling, even if you're not 100% back, you're feeling a lot better now, right? Because you regained that stability. This is exactly the same thing. You can create, by having that wholeness, that focus all in one place, this background serves as your inner stability. So even if you're having a challenging situation that just drags on, for weeks and whatever, somehow there is this strength that you can apply in a focused way, right? Day by day, you have that strength somehow that you're just applying. And that challenge becomes, not that it's easier, but your ability to handle it has increased to effective, right? Instead of just surviving and you're going through the motions. No, you're effectively going through this challenge. So it's a pretty big deal. How do you center? Again, this is where you're becoming the observer, you're becoming your own teacher. Trust in that. Here are a few tips. So modify, add, remove, play. Okay, play with these ideas. How do you do it? Mindful breathing, right? Air is life. So yes, we're slowing down our breath, we're slowing down our heart rate. When you're adding this idea that this in and out movement is what is keeping you alive right now, it's a pretty big deal, because if that would go away, it's all done. Movie's over, guys, right? If this, for whatever reason, would be taken down to 50%, that would be a pretty miserable life, okay? So for you to be sitting and breathing with that awareness that you are breathing in life is such a huge deal, right? So just coming back to that, right? Very fundamental essence of life. All right, being present in your body. Again, when our mental and emotional are very loud, we cannot hear the little things that are happening. Taking a moment throughout the day and asking, body, how are you doing? It is so beautiful and it's so eye-opening to see how much we're loading onto our body. For what? it's amazing. Do it. Grounding. This is another one of those, kind of like with the breath. It's an environmental perspective. When you're touching the ground and you're touching the planet with the understanding, and if you can't touch the ground, you can imagine you're in the forest barefoot. But every building is ground, so it doesn't matter. Just the idea that you're touching the same ground that every plant, every tree, every animal, every human being is also touching. It's a pretty cool thing. We're all on this planet and we're all sharing it. We're all sharing this life source together, right? It's so cool. Okay, visualization. Find your center. Imagination is really powerful here. How does your center look like? Is it a sphere? Is it a point? Is it translucent? What color is it? Is it a star? And where in your body is it, right? Find it and allow it to show up for you, right? That is really, really powerful. And then you can bring it forth. Hey, sphere, I'm playing with you. Where are you? Right? That type of thing. Be playful. Presence. Develop a sense of comfort being in your own presence. The key word here is words: comfort and total acceptance. That's also a skill. All right. Sometimes it's really hard to be with us in silence. There are things that we've said, there's maybe things that we've done, whatever. It's all done. It's all in the past. I'm here with me right now. That's it. So being able to come in that non-judgmental space and being comfortable with that takes a little bit of practice. It is so powerful. And if it takes 30 minutes at the beginning before you start to become fidgety, then take those 30 minutes. Next time, maybe it's 35 seconds, 35 seconds, right? Make it a minute, add another minute, step by step. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. But harness that presence and that comfort within you, okay? And expand. So these are some ideas that I have. Feel free to really expand and play and allow yourself to be inspired by other people and add to your practice, right? So happy centering. I do highly recommend that you start your day with a centering practice. Why? We have the tendency to wake up and go in our to-do list. So within 5 minutes of being awake, we are 50% already into our emotional and mental aspect. By the time we start our work, we might be, at 70%. And then you're operating basically from a 30% capacity, right? Start your day at 20% or whatever. Start it at 0, right? Then you're operating at 100%, right? That's the idea. Why you really want to start your day with this practice. Then you're able to feel, I'm getting over that 50%. Let me do a mini centering. I have 1 or 2 minutes. I'm going to use those 1 or 2 minutes to center, right? And that is a game changer. Your day is so much more whole because of this little centering practice. And it is yours. I would love to hear how that works out for you. I want to hear what you discover while you're developing this practice for you. And hopefully your comment will inspire somebody else and or would motivate them to keep going, right? Sometimes there's a learning curve. Having that motivation and inspiration from others to get you over that learning curve and really own this practice, it's a big deal. So leave me a comment. If you want to ask me a question, if you want to work with me, you can find me at beyondorionenergy.com. Happy centering. Thank you so much.